Straight up, the answer is yes to pretty much everyone. So, obviously, banners should you summon. You know, it's pretty much a routine at this point. This weekend, we actually have some of the most anticipated banners of all time, and it's a big deal. And we're about to get Kigiri tomorrow, Xaris right after, who I think is probably one of the most underrated heroes out of all of the new ones, but I'll elaborate on that in a second. And then one of the most mid-ancient banners we've ever had. So, I'm just quickly going to break it down, try to go as fast as I can. I don't want to make this too long, even though it is a big deal. If you are planning on spending in the game anytime soon, I encourage you guys to look at SmileOne. So SmileOne is the official third-party payment platform for the game. You go to the website, my links will be down below if you want to support me. You go, and you can buy discounted W Gold, which is amazing. And every once in a while, there will be a top-up event. This one will be between these dates on the screen, where when you spend, you will be able to get certain milestones and get extra rewards. So if you want more bang for your buck, use SmileOne. And thank you to SmileOne for sponsoring this video. So let's just quickly start off. I'm going to talk about the ancient banner first, just because I think it's the one that is by far the worst. Now, this banner is not the worst thing ever, obviously. It is still an ancient banner, which is better than no banner in my opinion. But the two heroes on it are in a unique situation where, while they aren't bad, I mean, Laya is a great lord, Twin Fiend is pretty solid, they're still really good for progression and all of that stuff. I still would recommend you not pull on this banner no matter who you are. And the reason for that is, in the current climate of ancient banners, you want to be going for an ancient exclusive lord. Because these lords like Laya and Twin Fiend can be pulled on normal banners. They're the same as like Morrigan or the same as Torador. You know, people who I have pulled on normal banners. And that just means that the heroes that you can't get on normal banners are what you should be focusing your raid up on. Now, is it tried and true, tested to always work? No. But any time you can maximize your chances, especially for these really rare crystals, you want to be doing that. So I would save it for like a Valderon banner, or a Cyrus banner, or a Pope, or an Ingrid banner, even like a Ymrit banner if you care about Gilvigild, Yovar, even Sulkadins is so much better than Twin Fiend. There's just a lot of better things you could be pulling for. And we still think that there is possibility that eventually we're going to get an Ingrid or Praetus rerun, so keep an eye out for that. Just know that this is a bad banner just because it is an ancient banner, not because of the heroes that are on it. If you do happen to pull Laya or Twin Fiend, be happy, they are great, but I just don't think they are worth the very valuable resource, which are ancient summons. Now, with that out of the way, let's go to the highlight of the week, and that is Kigiri. Kigiri is a limited hero, so the way that works, I see a lot of people confused sometimes. I don't really explain it very well, so let me try here. Kigiri essentially is one of the quote-unquote limited time units. The other ones being stuff like Lust, Anora, Dahlia, Reeve, Falcia, and Gwendolyn, I think is all of them. And the way they work is, when you pull 250 shards on the banner that they are on, you're guaranteed to get them. Now, some questions I see commonly asked: can you get them before that 250? The answer is yes. It is still functionally a 15x banner, but it has the added bonus that when you hit 250 summons on the banner, if you have not hit the hero already, you are guaranteed to get them, which is a better banner overall in pretty much every way than any other banner. Because in something like, for example, we're about to get a Hex banner at the end of the month. On this banner, if you were to pull 250, you're still not guaranteed to get Hex. You could still get unlucky, not hit the 15x, and you'll be dead in the water. So that is how a 250 limited summon works. And also the heroes in them can only be pulled on their banners. And there's also only one legendary commonly for this type of thing. Now, basics out of the way, we get to Kigiri. Kigiri is one of the most anticipated units for a reason. I think out of all of the new units that are coming, Baba, Twyla, Xaris, Numera, stuff like that are going to come out eventually, he is probably the most important, purely because he is a limited unit, and his viability is really, really important for one of the hardest pieces of content, which is Guild Boss 2. Now, Guild Boss 2 is also getting a change where Lucius and Kigiri, at least right now, which are the only units that will have this effect essentially applied, is on the Aegis phase, which is by far the hardest phase for people to get the most, like, score out of. Like, they generally get roadblocked on it. It's going to essentially neutralize that entire phase, because instead of refreshing all of the stacks that were stripped and another one, it's just going to be another one. If that makes any sense, you could watch some more breakdowns on YouTube. Just know that it is a big deal, and you're going to be able to get past that phase a ton easier. And he's just amazing for that. That is his main viability. If you want to see other areas or see how good he is, I know the Prospector has some amazing videos on Kigiri through test server. I cannot test him because I do not have test server. Moondon, please give me test server. And yeah, so Kigiri's great, but he is mostly only a Guild Boss 2 unit. Now, one more question before I tell you what I think about pulling for this banner is, a lot of people are asking, if you have Lucius, should you still pull for Kigiri? Because they do functionally do the same thing. I think 9 out of 10 times you should be going for Kigiri anyways. That's because of a couple things. One is there may be Apocalypse 3, so another difficulty of Guild Boss 2, where you're going to want to have Kigiri for Apoc 3 or Apoc 2, and then Lucius for the other one, just to kind of deal with it. So that is one thing. Number 2 is Kigiri does more damage on average, just because of how the kits work. Number 3 is Kigiri has better factions. Watcher is what Lucius is, but Nightmare is also for Kigiri, so Kigiri fits into both Watcher comps and Lucius comps. If you didn't know, Lucius only really does damage with Watcher Lords, which you're not always going to run. I mean, the meta is already Nightmare plus either Yovar, Solkadins, Praetus, Ingrid, right? So Kigiri is going to have a lot more viability with that. Now, he can also get his parry, if you didn't know how he works. He triggers his ultimate, starts a parry. If he gets hit, he will do a big attack, and Lust can actually trigger this, which makes his viability with Nightmare even better. It is just a perfect storm. And Kigiri also is easier to keep alive, and ground units are a lot easier to use. Like, for example, if I were running something like an Ingrid team, and I decided to run, let's say, a Yovar team with it, or we could run, you know, an Ingrid and a Solkadins, or an Ingrid and a Praetus team, where Ingrid is a Lord and then the other one is a Lord, you're going to be struggling with getting ground units. You're going to have, what, Constance as a ground unit, and then that's about it. And then you're going to have to find, like, 2 more ground units, because if you didn't know, if you had Elowen or Desomi, you could run 7 platform units. You're still going to need those ground units. So on those Watcher comps, Kigiri being a ground unit makes him infinitely better than Lucius, and it's just going to add some viability to team making, and that is why he's so good. So I think he is a must pull. Even if you don't think you want him or you need him, I would still recommend it. Kigiri is amazing. Now we get to the part of the video where I kind of shamelessly self-promote. Now, I have a Forerunner account lined up for a video tomorrow, where I am going to be testing Xaris in his entirety, showing his mechanics, how he works, where he's going to be good. I'm just going to straight up say, for AoE Arena, he will be borderline a necessity. Currently, they did nerf AoE Arena a little bit, so Ingrids below A5 are going to struggle a lot more in AoE and anti-air, and Xaris is going to come in and absolutely demolish so many Ingrid teams. Is he going to replace all of them? Are you going to use him with Ingrid? The answer to replacing all Ingrid teams, the answer is no. But he will be a reliable counter for people who either don't have her or even are using her, because using him and Ingrid together is insane. On Forerunner, there's like 3 of the top 5 teams or something like that for AoE right now are running Xaris, which is really, really, really sick. So keep that in mind. Xaris is amazing for that. I will have my guide on him soon. Essentially, the way he works is you spawn him in, he summons essentially 3 of himself that have his stats, and they do a ton of damage, and then his ult summons a bunch, and then every time you ult, it becomes a lot worse. This is a very cheap ult, it's only 600 when max skilled. He spawns in, gets it, blows up all AoE content in the game. He is the strongest AoE nuke in the game in terms of just quick damage. And then the way you use him is you sell him after, and then when you place him down, he's just as strong. That is how he works. He's very, very, very strong. You could read his kit in-game if you would like. His A1 also is really good. It essentially makes his on-deployment summon 2 more, which is just absolutely absurd, and his A1 just demolishes everything. He's going to do far more damage on early rounds than Ingrid ever could dream, because Ingrid's one counter is the fact that she's slow as hell to get out. So that is Xaris. Xaris is a sleeper. I do recommend pulling for him. If you don't know, you can pity manipulate, where if you track your pity, like how many pulls you've gotten since your last Lego, then you can just kind of get an extra Lego. You track when you're about to hit a Lego from that pity, you get that many pulls out on Kigiri banner, and then you swap over to the next banner, in this case Xaris's banner, pop the pity on there, then you've immediately reset your pity, and then you can go back to the Kigiri banner. Let's say you have 60 pulls left, you can do those remaining 60, instant Lego guaranteed. It's just a way to manipulate. That is something you could do as well, because Xaris is worth it. And since he is a 15x, I would say this is very worth your divines. Because, I mean a 2x 15x, sorry. This is very worth your divines, because that is just how it goes. Divines are amazing for that type of thing. Because double chances how you should always be sending your divines, since it is only a 12% chance after the 2x. And then 15x on top of that is amazing, and we don't get these too often. It's like once a month, so keep that in mind as well. I will be doing viewer summons if you are interested, so I will have the link down below to the forum if you want to sign up. It will be Friday, 10 a.m. EST, so about, let's say, 7 hours after the banner drops, and that's going to be hype. No, 6 hours after the banner drops, and that is going to be hype, so stop by if you would like. Anyways, that's it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Like and subscribe if you enjoy, and good luck summoning. Destined signing out.